Good morning. We are so excited to have Dr. Sara Pizano with us today. As you all know, we have contracted with Dr. Pizano and with Team Shelter USA to help us reinvent and re-energize our shelter. Dr. Pizano visited Oxford earlier this week, and we've gotten a lot of questions, Dr. Pizano, from our community. And so I'm hopeful that we can address many of those questions in the next few minutes. So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to go ahead and get started. And so will you tell us, first of all, just why you're excited to work with Oxford and why you recommend that we name the shelter the Oxford Resource Center and not have shelter in our name?
Yes, well, let me tell you, it's not just Team Shelter and I who are excited. It's people across the country are really excited about what's happening in Oxford because we rarely have an opportunity to hit the restart button. And over the last 5 or 10 years, animal welfare has really matured and changed. We have data now we never had before, Mayor Tannehill. Like, we didn't know these things, right? And so we've been trucking along, implementing all these great practices and progressive ideas. But when COVID hit, it plunged a lot of shelters into doing things differently because they had to. And everyone's like, wow, this is great. We tried all these new things like community centric foster care and it's working great. And guess what? We're not going to go back. So again, you Oxford, to everybody listening, you have the whole country of animal welfare excited about what's happening. And the idea is, we think about it, there's no more orphanages for children, are there? Right? So that has transitioned into foster care homes, and so that children get the individualized care they need. So that's the concept of changing to this community minded, foster centric animal welfare system, as opposed to the shelter system, because it's just better for the animals. It's better for people. It's better for all of us. And so that's what it means to be community centric. And then if somebody says, listen, I have to surrender my pet because of dot, 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 the question is, the shelter, or now the Animal Resource Center, should say, listen, tell us what the issue is. Let's work together and find a solution. Maybe we can help you keep your pet. Maybe we can help you find a direct placement. And so it's the idea that by working together, and by the way, this happens more often than not, right? Most people don't get their animals at shelters. Only 1 out of 4 get them at shelters or rescue groups. So, I could go on, but that's the gist of it. So that's why we want to call it the Animal Resource Center, to help link people to needed resources.
Well, and we are really excited about hiring a help team in the very near future. And Dr. Pizano has been great to help us get some guidance on how to move forward with that. Now, I know that you've mentioned to me, and I have said this term out loud, and so we're getting questions about what does managed intake mean?
Yeah, so this is along the same idea of what I just spoke about. Traditionally, this system that you know, was implemented 150 years ago was basically animals just fled into the shelter. It's open admission, and there's no appointments, there's no workflow, there's no protecting animals when we're overcrowded, and all of those types of things. Managed admissions means, hey, wait a minute, what can I do to help you keep your pet or help you become a foster right now on the spot, so that we're only using this sacred shelter space for animals that don't have any other options or alternatives, right? And it's the idea that also, if I am going to take that animal into the shelter, again, it is best for pets and people that I have the space, that I know they're coming, that I can prepare appropriately for them, and that they have an appointment. No different than when we go to the doctor, right? I mean, we have to make an appointment. So managed intake essentially means we're going to do our very best with those links to resources, and we're going to focus on the animals who have no other alternatives and taking them into the shelters. So that's what managed intake means, or managed admission. It's the same thing.
Well, I know that you have helped shelters be successful across the country. And of course, we have studied all of those different models and success stories. So tell us, we have a small community here in Oxford. So why do you think that the same recommendations that you've made in larger cities across the United States will work here in our community?
That's a great question. So, as I was adding Mississippi to one of the states where I'm helping, Mississippi is my 22nd state. So, I
Wow.
have done work in almost half of the United States. I've been in large communities, small communities, very rural, 15,000 people, Dallas, Texas, millions of people, right? And the thing is, these challenges and solutions empirically are the same everywhere. And so when we think about these ideas strategically and how to help keep families together, how to get keep animals in their current homes or get them foster homes or new adoptive homes, then it really solves the issue. So we know from experience, absolutely guaranteed, that it will work in every community, including yours. No, I have no doubt, no fear whatsoever.
Well, we are so excited to see all of these plans come to fruition. We have so many people in our community that are passionate about animal welfare, that are passionate about serving the animals and the people of our community, and that are ready to have a world class shelter resource center here in Oxford. So tell me, the community is asking, how do we fit in to this picture?
Right.
What is our role? So how do you see the community and volunteers fitting into the Animal Resource Center? And, how can we be sure that these recommendations will work?
Right. So, and this is why I have no doubt, because I know your community is raring to go and ready to step up and already wants to help. And so there are endless opportunities. And just to piggyback on what we were talking about with the name, the Animal Resource Center, and why not shelter, we want to get out of our heads that this is a place where animals are left. Right? This is a place where I'm going to go for a link to resources. So every single step, it is absolutely crucial that the community get involved. This might mean making a donation. This might mean virtually taking pictures and reposting them and taking videos from the cute things that fosters and the shelter staff the center staff are taking to advocate to get animals placed. It might mean short-term foster care. It might mean, I am going to say, if there's a person suffering from an emergency, a domestic violence issue, a medical emergency, I'm going to step up and foster their pet for a month while they get back on their feet. Maybe I'm going to be a regular foster parent and have puppies and kittens and dogs and cats in and out of my house, and my job is finding them homes. Maybe it's volunteering at the shelter. Maybe it's just doing fundraisers. Maybe I'm great at marketing and I stay in my lane, but I promise you, everybody has gifts. And however you're moved to help, there is a place for you, and we need you desperately.
Absolutely. We look so forward to getting our community involved with this shelter, and we have got great plans in the works. So, thank you for those answering those questions, and thank you for doing the best practices presentation on Thursday, April 22nd. I want the public to know that we will be taking questions prior to that virtual town hall that we will be hosting on April the 22nd at 6 o'clock p.m. So what can people expect for that virtual town hall meeting?
Yeah, well, you know what's interesting, when I look back when I started doing assessments in 2013, and we would go in and we were so excited to do assessments and help communities, and then we realized there were all this misinformation about what we were doing and recommending. So I said, wait a minute. Let's just do, like, here's the basic recommendations, and these are all in the playbook. If anybody listening, if you want to know what's coming, buy the best practice playbook for animal shelters. It's available on Amazon, and the mayor is going to hold up the hard copy. There it is. And the ebook is going to be out any day. I'm so excited. But if you want the spoiler alert, get the playbook and you'll understand where these recommendations are coming from. I didn't make any of this stuff up. None of these are my ideas. I'm just saying, hey, people, this is what works everywhere. And so the best practice presentation is that those ideas distilled down to a presentation that's about 45 minutes and talks about these key ideas and why we know their work and how we can make sure they work in your community. And one of my friends from high school, not in animal welfare, once asked me if I'm nervous because people are going to ask me questions and I don't know the answers to. And I say, no, because everybody asks me the same 10 questions. So whatever questions you have come, please ask them ahead of time. There'll be a Q&A box as well during the presentation, but I promise you, you are going to be with a whole heck of a lot of people from around the country that are having the same questions. So please ask your questions and I will answer them during the presentation.
Wonderful. Well, like we have said and have known, Dr. Pizano is not just the best consultant that we could have on animal welfare and shelter management and practices. She literally wrote the book. So give a shameless plug here for the book, because we do encourage our community to embrace this. And, we're excited. Our kennel attendants and animal control officer are already reading the book, and they are taking the training modules that you have recommended and passing those. And we're getting people started on the right foot. So can you tell everybody your book and how they can get a copy?
Yes, so the book is the Best Practice Playbook for Animal Shelters. It's available on Amazon. I think in the next couple weeks, it looks like the ebook will be available on Amazon and Apple Books as well. And I want everybody to know about fear-free sheltering. And so that will be free for all the shelter. It is free for all the shelter employees and volunteers that want to join. But I tell you what, I am so grateful for the fear-free movement. I took the training 2 years ago and I learned a lot. So I want everybody to make sure they get certified. So it's really important.
And I'm excited to announce that both of our kennel attendants are fear-free certified now. So we are headed in the right direction. We are headed in the right direction. Thank you so much. We will look forward to being back with you on April the 22nd at 6 p.m. to answer community questions and to learn more about best practices. Thank you, Dr. Pizano.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to everybody who's listening.